Shalom Yashrala, this is your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can push this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article real fast, which is dealing with, ultimately the famine of the word. All right, as you can see, it says leaked documents expose ministry of truth. Now, when we get into this here, this is something that they were pushing for. When we get into it, it'll say, talk about how things were exposed and everything else like that. And they kind of put the brakes on these things. But, as we just went over not too long ago about this Bilderberg meeting and certain things that they were trying to get into as far as disinformation and but is it the World Economic Forum and talking to YouTube and things like that, we see how, things are still moving forward despite, what they may say one thing out of one side of their mouth and something else out the other side. So like the scripture say, never trust thine enemy. All right. And, the spirit of Yahweh is the spirit of prophecy. So what we're banking more on we're banking all the way on prophecy than anything Esau has to say, because we know what the end game agenda is. All right. And the scripture also said, never trust thy enemy. All right. And also when they should say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Oh, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. Hey, man, you can expect, it's just like in let's just say boxing. Oh, I'm not going to throw the uppercut. I'm not going to throw the uppercut. I'm not going to throw the left hook. Man, that's what you better be expecting, man. All right. So let's just read this here article real quick. It says leaked documents expose U.S. Ministry of Truth. Whistleblowers files suggest the government sought to operationalize social media sites to combat supposed disinformation. And something else I thought of when, reading this was, I forgot what it was beforehand. Was it it was pretty much the same thing, but I believe it was I forgot what it was on, though. But instead of trying to make certain things, like law, like, from the government on down, what they did was they just imposed these things from, these social media sites and social media platforms. All right. And just like the same thing, like when, you just had the little Juicy Juice situation, instead of them trying to so-called mandate these things by law, what did they do? They went to the stores and the jobs and everything else like that and controlled things from there. It's just like, just I always use this example. There's no law in the U.S. that says that you have to have an email address, right? But if you want to use, basically, if you want to get online and use like a smartphone or anything like that, in order, an app on a smartphone, well, guess what? You're going to need an email address to be able to open up those, the app store on either the Android or the iPhone platform. All right, to be able to sign in and everything else like that. So even though there's no explicit law saying you need an email address, the way they have things orchestrated from, top down from, these corporation standards. All right. You pretty much need one. All right. So it says the U.S. government plan to use its now shelved Disinformation Governance Board to make social media platforms remove posts the government deems false, according to the leaked documents obtained by opposition lawmakers. And now, as you see also other things at work here in the news, as far as these other stories, like, what was it, the Buffalo guy? Was it Buffalo, where the grocery store was, wherever the grocery store situation popped off at, where they said it was fueled by racial tension and online posts, and he live streamed the situation and everything else like that. One of the things I heard about that was the rebuttal to that was, how could he be able to live stream this? How come there wasn't things put in place that would immediately cancel this and everything else like that? What they were really saying, when you read between the lines, was, how could this go on so long? We should be able to have safeguards in place to go off at certain points of times to stop these things. It's just like when you're watching, for the longest time, we've been watching regular TV, right? Now, sometimes they have, unless they have that little time delay, sometimes people slip up and say, like, let's say on the news, they shooting live news or a live baseball game, football game, and somebody curse live on TV, it happens to get through because it's just streaming. Right now, think about it. A lot of the brothers, they live stream camps and things like that, or live stream, lessons and things like that, and a lot of things like that. Or even, a lot of these truthers, they, on some of their more juicier things, what they'll do is they'll live stream it, and then they'll pretty much what they call it, put it as private right after it, so that you have to catch it while it's live, or else you're not going to be able to see it at all, so that their information can go forth and it can stay up online. So, using this guy in Buffalo, oh, he was live streaming this for so long and this and that, and it happened to be after the fact that after he did what he did, that they wound up catching it and removing it. How come we can't remove it while it's going on? Think about the men of the Lord that's on the highways and the byways when they're out there preaching. How come we can't stop them, in the midst of their speech? And I did a video not too long ago going into the World Economic Forum when the CEO of YouTube was talking about this, about how with their algorithms they can pretty much silence the majority of us by striking down the channels and the videos and things like that. But just a lot of them still get through. All right, but they're still tweaking the algorithm to catch the rest of it. All right, it says Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa and John Hawley of Missouri cited the whistleblower files in an open letter to the Department of Homeland Security Chief Alejandro Mayorkas, published on Wednesday, in which they pressed for more details on the controversial DGB. The department planned to coordinate efforts to leverage ties with the social media platforms to enable the removal of user content, the senator said in a press release, adding that it sought to use big tech sites to enforce its agenda. So like I was saying before about like with the Juicy Juice, right? They didn't necessarily mandate that from a federal law all over the whole U.S. Everybody need to go get this. But what they did was, they urged and pressured corporations, all right, and businesses to implement these safety guide measures and everything else like that. So whenever you wanted to go to work or go into these stores, that was their policy. Oh, well, it's not federally illegal for you to do these things. But if you want to come in our store, you're going to need these things. So the same way here, it's, oh, well, the government got pushed back from silencing certain things that they deem quote unquote disinformation, which they'll get into. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, how do I say? Now it's, well, the government can't do it. We'll get the backlash. So we'll just have these social media sites that'll do it for us. And we'll touch on the disinformation part because I know it sounds weird to, the layman's terms, but for us, it's in its truth. We already know how it's going to get down. It says first floated in April. The board was quickly paused after a strong public backlash in which critics likened it to the state-run Ministry of Truth. The lawmakers said in the leaked documents raised serious concerns about the initiative. The DGB was established to serve a much more than simple working group to develop guidelines, standards, and guardrails for protecting civil rights and civil liberties, they wrote. In fact, the DHS documents showed that the DGB was designed to be the department's central hub, clearinghouse, and gatekeepers for administration policy in response to whatever it happened to decide was disinformation. So, just to throw it out there on a limb, obviously, but just check it out. Imagine if the administration decided that, it was disinformation to say that, the sky was blue, the clouds are white, oh, no, the sky is actually purple, and the clouds are actually orange, or green or something like that, and we all clearly know what's going on. All right. Then they say it's disinformation. It's not about what's true. It's about what they say is true. All right. That's the situation that's going on. Now, to kind of tiptoe around this, because obviously this is one of those situations where you go back and you think about when the whole the global sickness thing came around, how many times their stories changed up. All right. And the same thing with that. There was a lot of things that, we were saying and other people were saying as well that they deemed disinformation, and then come right back on around, after striking down our channels and our videos, they came right back on around and said, oh, actually, this is what we're going to go with. This is actually the narrative. This is actually the story that we're going to go with. But yet and still, the damage was already done to the voices that was trying to tell you about, to warn you about these things, man. So again, it's not about what's right and what's wrong or what's true and what's false. It's about what they want you to hear, about what they want you to know about. All right. It says Grassley and Hawley argued that the Biden administration has offered no clear definition of disinformation. So they can't tell you exactly what disinformation is because, they use these terms because in reality, what is disinformation? All right. Telling somebody what a lie is, basically misinforming somebody, in which we know that this here, not just to say this administration, but, when they sit here and tell you that, oh, well, you can, whatever your, if you got double X chromosomes or XY chromosomes, you can identify as whatever you want to identify. Like, well, that's disinformation. For me to be calling you an X, Y, and Z, that's disinformation because that's not true. That's whatever y'all making up. But yet they're calling that true information, But then when we tell you about certain things, like, look, this, whatever topic, we don't want to get, this video acts, but, on certain topics, we tell you about certain things. Let's just say, hypothetically, we tell you water is wet and they deem that that's misinformation or disinformation. Oh, well, that's new on the checklist. And then after they cut our videos next week, they'd be like, you know what, we've come to find out that water is wet, Now they didn't change up their story. So it's not about what's true or what's false or what's right information or what's disinformation. It's what they deem that they want the public to know about, just think of their wicked agendas that they push forth, man. All right, we can go back to let's just say the Tuskegee experiment. All right, when they was giving Jake syphilis and things like that. Now at that point in time, if you would have came out like, yo, y'all out here spreading and giving Jake out here syphilis, they would, oh, that's disinformation. But now look at how the files have come out to be like, yeah, actually they did do that and they had to apologize for those things, man. Think about all the things that the government had to come out and apologize for. Now when they was doing those things, all right, they was considered, informing the people of the truth and they wasn't lying to the people. But now all of a sudden, oh, that's disinformation. If you would have been back in the days and telling them that, a pregnant woman shouldn't smoke cigarettes, oh, that's disinformation, we cut your channel. But now look at it. They tell you, oh, pregnant women shouldn't consume cigarettes, right? Nobody should, but they literally put that on a box, all right? It says, Grassley and Hawley argued that the Biden administration has offered no clear definition of disinformation, and what the DHS board has shown serious bias even to the earliest stages, despite assurance it would remain apolitical. And in particular, they pointed out author and disinformation fellow Nina Jaskowitz, who's chosen to head the DGB, claiming she's a known trafficker of foreign disinformation and liberal conspiracy theories. So, hey, these people are, how do I say, in bed with these things. Let me read this last two paragraphs. It says, wait a minute. It says, draft briefings noted prepared in late April indicated that senior DHS officer Robert Silvers planned to meet with Twitter executives to discuss the disinformation board, though it remains unclear whether the scheduled meeting would ever took place. The two senators urged Mayorkas to divulge more information about the department's goal for the DGB, including whether it ever asked social media firms to censor, flag, add context to, or remove users' posts or ban accounts. They also requested documents and communications related to Jankowicz and called the government to give its definition for actionable disinformation, saying it should identify who exactly is ultimately responsible for making this determination. And ultimately, we know it's them. And we know, like the scriptures say, let's go ahead and read it. All right, Ecclesiastes, or the book of Sirach, chapter 12. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." All right, so hey, you can't trust this damn devil, man. Like I gave plenty of examples, like I said with the Tuskegee experiment when they was doing that. Oh no, we're trying to help you guys out. We're just running this, we're running that, and then ultimately, to come to find out they had lied about those things, man. They had to come out and apologize about those things, man. All right, with a lot of different examples. You just look back at how many times the American government had to apologize. Hey, let's look at the last 20 years. All right, you had a big campaign about what was going on in the Middle East and everything else like that, about the weapons of mass destruction, all right, that they was looking for. And come to find out, 20 years later, that was like one of the big major conspiracy, quote unquote, conspiracy theories that woke up a lot of people to that the government be lying to them. But then look, 20 years later, they come to find out, well, we wasn't looking for weapons of mass destruction. He didn't have weapons of mass destruction. But then you can go back and clearly see them saying that that's what they over there for the whole time anyway. All right. But hey, they was over there for their own agenda, man. But yet and still, it's not about disinformation. All those people that were so-called axed or turned down or called crazy and everything else like that, they wasn't really disinforming you. They was actually telling you the truth. The opposite was actually going on from the government that was trying to censor you, and we know what these things is coming to. Jake waking up, we see where we at in prophecy and things like this. All right, we see more and more Jake calling on the name of the Lord, more and more Jake waking up to who their enemy is. All right, so guess what Esau's doing? He knows he has but a short time. So now he's coming down with great wrath. He's putting in all the stops. Hey, man, we got to pull the plug on this. All right, because this is the ultimate agenda of Esau, man. All right, let me finish this off. We'll get to there. Sirach 12:10. "Never trust thy enemy, for like iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." So he gonna keep coming, man. No matter if he want to so-called say, oh, he gonna stop this here program, oh, we not gonna push this here law, we're not gonna make it federal, whatever. But like I said, also it says in an article, how we know that y'all are just not gonna pass on the how I say the responsibility all right, to the social media sites or these different corporations to make sure that you censor them, man. All right, because all you got to do is go to these social media sites and then say, hey, look, you got to put in these certain safeguards, run this here algorithm. All right, you can put them on you know, hell, you can even put them on the phones, to the fact of the matter where, Android and Apple, to where if you type certain things or say certain things on their little platforms, that it'll deem it, how you call it, you know, they'll censor it basically. Like I know, for instance, on like certain video games and stuff like that, where they have the text feature to text to other players or other people on the games. Like, if you use like profane language, you call somebody, hey, asshole, or something like that, they'll sit there, they'll be like, before you even send it across, they'll sit there and monitor it and be like, hey, this is explicit language, we got to take this down. Or if you say certain things, like even if, you playing a video game where you killing in there, let's say you playing like some army game, Call of Duty or something, and you talking to the other dude or something like that, like, hey man, kill him, he's around the corner or something like that. You try to type that to them. I don't know if they actually got the typing feature in there. I'm just hypothetically, because they have other games like this. They'll be like, hey man, matter of fact, Grand Theft Auto is like that. You try to type somebody to something like that, and we all know about that game. You just doing nothing but robbing, shooting, and killing in that damn game. But so it's not weird for you to be like, oh, kill old boy, he right there around the corner. If you're having a little shootout match or something like that. But you try to type that across the damn screen, it's not going to let you go through. So, and that's some old ass system. So how much more in modern day phones where we keep constantly getting updates for them to put these things in place? All right, for you to just, you say certain terms. That's why we have to modify a lot of the words that we say now. And hey, they already on to that, man. So what? They're trying to make ways for those things to algorithms to catch those things as well too, man. All right, but hey, we know what Esau's plan is. All right, and it's ultimately the Most High's plan. So hey, this is why it's expedient for you to seek the Lord while he may be found. All right. Continuing on, Sirach 12:10, never trust thy enemy, for like iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. All right. So again, let me just keep reading on down. It says, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. At least thou remember my word, Select. And thou at last remember my word, be pricked therewith. It says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with the serpent, or such as come not a wild beast? So, hey, man, you go ahead and trust in this person because, look, you lost in the sauce. And, oh, man, it's crazy that this guy can sit here and live stream all this hating on the screen and doing all this and that and so on and so forth. And we need to stop all these things. We got to stop these things from happening and everything else like that. Now, everybody out there marching for these things, lo and behold, just like with the gun situation, man, they show you a couple little examples on TV. Man, I can't remember what the Joker said in The Dark Knight. He says something that goes right along with this. He's like, you do a couple little things and everybody loses their minds. And that's how you control all the people, man. All right. They show you a couple of these examples, but look, hey man, oh, well, how is he able to show off this hate and everything else like that on TV and everything else like that? But look, sometimes what you may deem as hate, or violence and things like that is not really, what it really is. It's actually the opposite of that. Like for instance, when was it that shooting? No, it was the grocery store shooting. Yeah, the Buffalo shooting. As a matter of fact, you had, I believe it was IUIC that was out there. You had Jacob that time something they was preaching hate, but that's just how 2/3 of Jacob was perceiving it. It was like, nah, we telling you that this is your enemy. Your enemy's over here doing this. Why y'all over here trying to fight us? In fact, y'all showing us hate. We showing y'all love, and y'all showing us hate. Thompson, get us off the block. And if the police don't, we know somebody that will. And I know that some of the police was over there because they were just quiet. I know some of the police like, these niggas is stupid. They don't realize, yeah, it was a white dude that came up in here and shot y'all all up. It ain't the black dudes that's out here preaching with y'all, but the Bibles is killing y'all. I mean, yeah, you do got Jake killing Jake, but these guys over here with the Bibles and these little purple outfits ain't the ones that's killing y'all out here, man. It's actually, the folks that like the ones that's wearing badges like them that's killing the majority of them. The majority of y'all folks out there marching is because people with badges is killing y'all. And these Edomites is going on these killing sprees and shooting up all y'all kids and everything else like that. So these is more of a threat to y'all than these other Jakes is out here in these purple outfits or these other brothers out here reading these Bibles. But how did 2/3 of Jake perceive that? They perceive that as actual hate. So, Jake don't, they can use this as propaganda and everything else like this. So these couple little examples of certain things. Oh, he in a live streaming his hate, and y'all want to come out here and be videotaping and show him forth more hate. But hey, man, this is all going to bring in. Let's go ahead and read it. Matter of fact, let me come back to that. This is Second Esdras. Oh wait. Second Esdras 5 and Second Esdras 5 and 9. It says, "And salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into a secret chamber." So, if what the famine of the word coming is put into place, all right, when you try to look for truth and try to find out what's really going on with certain things, what do you think you're gonna find, man? All right, we've been exposing all these different things that's going on as far as the wars, rumors of wars, the MOTB, hey, especially the actual famines. All right, like what's going on over there, and with the whole Russia-Ukraine situation, about the hypocrisy of America and the things that they got going on. Like, look, bro, y'all the one causing all these things, but yet look at the majority of these Americans. They think that Putin is the boogeyman, Putin is the bad guy, and everything else like that. But they're not saying that, like, look, we're not going to get too far into it, but America is the one who was propagandizing Ukraine, hijacked the Ukraine, and blew smoke up their ass and got them and kept sending them weapons and weapons and weapons and weapons, and ran up on Russia's border. And Russia had no other choice but to react in defense mode and defend themselves, all right, and cause all these things. These American populations don't realize that the sanctions that America put on Russia, and cutting Russia off is the reason that your gas prices is all high. There's food shortages and everything else is going on because it's all being orchestrated, mainly coming from here in America. But they all think that Putin is the boogeyman. Putin is the one doing all these things. But because, they're being propagandized and being disinformed by the mainstream media and things like that. So, you have not just the men of the Lord telling you this, but you also have, like the scriptures say, their own tongue falling upon them. You have what they call whistleblowers telling you the same truth. Now, what happens if they come out and say, oh, well, this is all, we deem all this disinformation? So what do you think you're going to wind up finding? That's when wit's going to hide itself, man. All right, then, there's going to be great confusion in all kind of places, man. People are going to be fighting one another because they're going to be fighting the wrong people, more or less, say, the people that can be so-called helping you. Let's say, give you a real life example, right? 2/3 of Jake that don't believe and don't understand these things that we teach them, right? When them chariots pull up, guess what? They're going to think that that's something that they should be trying to fight against. Oh, we got to call the police. I've seen a video about it. They even seen some chariots in the sky, and Jake says, y'all better call the police. Y'all need to be shooting at that. Like, all right, y'all try that if y'all want to in that day. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be going bad for you. But because guess what? They was disinformed. All right. Wit had hid itself from them. The Most High had them blinded. They couldn't see. So how much more in these here times, man, when, like the scriptures say, wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy time. Where are you getting the real so-called news from? Where are you getting the real truth from? All right. You're getting it from the men of the Lord, man. All right. But once the men of the Lord are taken out of the place, all right. We'll close out with this. Amos 8 and 11 says, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread nor of thirst for water, but of hearing the word of the Lord. All right, so there's going to be a shortage on you seeing these videos, hearing the word of the Lord, finding the prophets out in the highways and the byways, and there's going to be a shortage of that, man. All right, if you're not, tapped in with them, then you're not going to be able to hear from them. All right, and they shall wander from sea to sea and from north even to the east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord and shall not find it. And that day shall the fair virgins and the young men faint for thirst. All right. So, hey, man, you're going to be looking for truth. You're going to be looking for answers. All right. But what are you going to wind up finding, man? You're going to wind up finding those that's leading you astray, man. Those that say, oh, the MOTB is an embargo here. Go ahead and take this here chip. You good. And then guess what? Your ass wind up being missile food, man. All right, this is what's going to wind up happening, man. You're going to be led astray, man. You had a lot of people, we're not going to get in too far into it, but, you had a lot of people with the juicy juice situation that was lied to about certain things and wound up, taking that. And then when they wound up being sick, while they was looking at their counterpart who was telling them, nah, don't take that. Don't jump into that boat. Don't get into that category. Oh, y'all crazy. Not too further down the road. Look, the one who took the juicy juice, the one over there. Oh, y'all pray for me. I'm in the hospital. Y'all pray for me. This and that. Whereas the so-called irresponsible one who didn't take the juicy juice, still ticking, still kicking. Ain't nothing wrong with them. Ain't missed a whole beat at all, man. But yet and still, hey, man, end all be all, man. This is only for the elect. So what? The elect's going to wind up, hearing the voice of the Lord and following, whithersoever he goes. But, hey, this is just, an update is how much closer we are to the end, man, where the famine of the word is coming into place. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord's will, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rukak Badash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, the great millstone that taught us this truth and never will. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Till next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.